Hi everyone, my name is Tom and I wanted to create a video to tell you a little bit about a product I discovered recently um, called Flow E. It gives you a way to manage your email using a Kanban board. This is their home page, and there's a lot of good information on here. You should check it out. It's flow-e.com. Right now, the product is only working for Gmail and Office 365. But for those of you who are interested in learning more about it, if you don't already have an account, maybe you can consider setting up an email on one of those services and then come back here and check it out. I'm going to scroll through some of the features on the board on their homepage here, just to let you know that this is workflow and an inbox. So instead of just having a simple task board or a task list of your emails, you can actually visualize what you need to do in a board type of a process format. Important to know that the company doesn't store any of the data. They're simply looking at your email and adding some additional value to it through the visualization. Um, there's a delegation and timeline. I haven't really explored those too much yet, but they're probably pretty cool once I dive into them. Just haven't had time for it yet. Uh, Real quick, they've implemented a way to schedule meetings from within the service. You can probably do the same thing within Gmail or Office 365 yourself. Just takes a few extra steps, and this allows you to very quickly set up meetings with people who have sent you emails. Um, you can add to-dos, set deadlines, and so forth, and I'll show you more of that later. Um, Pricing is there is a free version, and that's how I kind of got started. And there's a master version, which is $9 a month, which might seem like a lot, but if it is as good as I'm experiencing, I think you'll find it to be a good value. And there's a 14-day trial for that master version if you want to give it a shot. So I'm gonna sign in now, and then we'll do a walkthrough of what my account looks like. See, it remembered who I was, so I didn't even have to put in my password and so forth. I just signed right on in. Um, so what I want to go over with you are some of the basic elements of Flow E. On the far left, that is your inbox or any of the other subcategories that you may have organized. So if I drop this down, I can see all these different sources for my email that I can take a look at. I happen to be on inbox. Um, so instead of being a simple to-do list, a lot of email, you can tag an email as a to-do item. But in here, you can actually put it into a to-do column and then prioritize it. And I'll talk about that in a few minutes. Um, so basically, a Kanban board is three basic columns. To do, I prefer calling it doing. Some people call it in progress, and just like that, I can actually change the name. So it's in progress. And then finally, there's done. Those are the three basic columns. But there's a bunch of things you can do with those columns. For example, you can rename them, as I just did here, and I'll say doing. You can move those columns around. Let's say that you want to, kind of crazy, but maybe you want to, you're doing before your to do. You can do that. I'm going to put that back. Do is just to show you that you could do that. You can create and delete columns. I have this one column that I created previously. It's called impediment, and it just contains things that I'm sort of blocked on. But I can create a new column by clicking that button, the plus sign, and I can type a new one that says urgent, for example. So I can, that's one way to classify it. And then of those columns, I can do other things like I can change the color. So let's say urgent is red. So now I've got that. Other things I can do with the column is I can collapse them and expand them back out again. And then, of course, I can always delete them as well. So that's some of the things that you can do with a column. Now, what you're looking at on the page now is what is basically considered cards. So a card may start as an email, or you can just have a blank card or a customized card. It's not really an email. So if I click this plus sign up here, it'll add a card. We can see it down here in the bottom right hand corner. And I'm going to do a to-do of say, I don't know, mow the lawn. It's kind of nonsensical in a way, but I'm just trying to indicate that you can put anything you want on these cards. And you can put a message in here, big weekend coming up. And you've got all kinds of rich text elements you can put onto the card. And when you create that, now it's a to-do item on my list, and it's not necessarily generated from an email. And then I can handle that in very much the same way that I would an email. Now, other things you can do with any of these cards, and I'll go through each one of them one by one. There's a thing called power-ups. And I have a feeling that Flowy is going to be adding some additional power-ups eventually, but for the time being, we can do two things. We can set a due date. So let's say I want to make sure that I do this one this weekend, and so I can set a due date. I can also add a to-do, like buy a mower, get gas. Okay, so now I've got some to-dos that I need that are a part of that. So it's not simply a simple task list, it's sort of a task within a task list within a task list. I can edit this, so I can pop it back down here and put some more notes on it and update that. I got more information. I can go through and click these off, bought the mower, got the gas. All right, now I can say that one's done. Notice it moved over here to my done column. Now I can forget about it. What are some of the other things you can do? You can change the labels on the emails, and I'm not going to necessarily demonstrate that. Basically, if you're familiar with Gmail, there are labels, and you can add and remove labels from an item. You can also, if it's an email, you can reply to it directly within here, and I can say thanks for your help. And what that's going to do, it will she's going to wonder why I sent this, but oh well, maybe she's watching the video. And it's going to send that message, and it's going to keep it together as part of the conversation right here in Flow E. When I'm all done, I can either delete it, or I can click done, and it'll move over here to my done column. So that pretty much covers all the great features. I think there's probably some other hidden gems in there, but I wanted to just sort of highlight some of the things that it's capable of, and hopefully you'll stay tuned and check it out yourself. It is very cool. I think that Flowy is thinking of email in a way that is new and fresh, and I'm really excited to start using it on a daily basis.